I'll do anything to make my fragrances last a little longer. Do you ever feel like that? You'll do anything to make your fragrances last longer. You know, sometimes it's so annoying when you go and you purchase a fragrance, especially if it costs a lot of money, and the thing only lasts an hour. You know, you don't even arrive at your destination that you're going to, and you can't even smell it. You can smell it, no one else can smell it. It's like, man, and then I spent all this money on this fragrance. If that's you, we're going to talk about it. This is Marvin with Preaching Scents. Back at you all with another video. We're just going to talk about how to make your fragrances last longer, and there's some things you need to consider. So, first thing, I think everyone knows this. Take a shower, right? That's common sense. You know, you want your body to be clean, and just all the old fragrances, all the dirt. I don't really explain to you all why you need to take a shower, so I'm not going to do that. That's always the first thing. But when you take a shower, the thing about it is, one of the biggest thing about fragrances not lasting longer is because of hydration issues, right? So you come out of the shower, usually you tend to get a little ashy. And then also, I would say, just on top of that, drinking water, just staying hydrated in general is going to also help too. But if you have dry skin all the time, your fragrances aren't going to last as long. So you definitely want to stay hydrated, drink a lot of water. When you take a shower, you need to apply some sort of a moisturizer on. It's best to do ones that don't have a lot of, scent to them. Maybe some, keep that to a minimum, because that's going to obviously mix in with whatever fragrance that you're wearing, and that's going to change things, right? I tend to use cocoa butter. That is my moisturizer of choice. This is actually very scented. Obviously, it's cocoa butter, but I found that doesn't clash with a lot of the fragrances that I like to wear. But it definitely can. So I would even choose something even more scentless than cocoa butter. But the main thing is make sure your skin is very moisturized, and that's going to help a lot with causing not only for your fragrances to last longer, but it'll also help with the sillage, or the projection. So the other trick that people like to use is going beyond just pure moisturizer, using some Vaseline. Now, Vaseline, what it does, it's almost like, a glue. It's coating your skin, and so when you spray the fragrance, it allows the fragrance to kind of stick a little bit better. It ends up lasting a little bit longer on your skin, and obviously Vaseline doesn't really have much of a scent. So this is one way, and I don't rub my whole body with it, but you could definitely take it. I would just take it and rub it in some of those key points that you're going to spray your fragrance on, in the bend of your elbows. I might put a little bit on my neck, a little bit right here, and then I'll spray my fragrance. And that, for me, has allowed my fragrances to last a little bit longer. So you can give it a shot and see if it works for you. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to skin chemistry, and everyone's skin chemistry is different. So the other things that you have to look at is, what we call a primer. And there's these two things that you should buy. Right now, most people buy Molecule 01 and Molecule 02. I found this one is by Oak City Beard Company. This one right here is the ISO E Super. This is something you could spray your skin with, and it doesn't have much of a scent. If it does, you can smell it. It has a little bit of a scent, but it's so light you can barely smell it. But it's kind of a little bit of a woody, ambery type of aroma. But it's so light you can barely smell it. Some people will just wear this. If you're going somewhere you don't want your fragrances to fit in anybody, they'll just wear this. But this right here goes as a good base before you put on your actual fragrance, and this does work. It will cause your fragrance to last a lot longer, help with the projection. Is because this is the compounds in this are they have the molecules in there that allow actually a lot of the fragrances actually have this kind of stuff in it. The other one is I have another one by Oak City Beard Company, and this is it's called the Boost, and this one is basically ISO Super, but it has the ambroxan in it, and ambroxan is another compound or another note that's used in a lot of fragrances that causes the fragrances to last a lot longer. I have one fragrance here that does it, and that's Jimmy Choo Iceman, and this right here, you know, it does have ambroxan in the base that allows it to, you know, last a little bit longer. It smells so good. Sorry. So that's another thing. So try to get, you know, that these were about, I think these are about $30 each, around that range. Whereas Molecule 01, which is the exact same thing as these two, probably double that price and not more, maybe $60, $70 is what those will run you. So go ahead and get yourself some of these by the Oak City Beer Company. I'll leave links down below in the description below. And then the other thing that you have to look at is just understanding how fragrances work in different kind of weather. There's a reason why we wear certain fragrances in the summer. So the summer fragrances tend to be the ones that have a lot of citruses, such as lemon and bergamot and things of that nature, and you know, and that usually is the top notes, and they're usually lighter. But you can make it so those last longer if you do some of these tips and tricks that I share with you already today. But the other thing is that you know, you just have to understand that those top notes that I mentioned with the citruses and the lemon and bergamot, if you don't see something to allow those top notes to be able to kind of be carried a little longer, if you don't have anything that's any base in that type of fragrance, a strong base in it, it's not going to last long. So for example, I have Terre Hermes Eau Givrée, and this right here is one of my favorite summer fragrances. I just love this one. It opens up with, oh my gosh, the opening on this with the citron, the juniper berries, just amazing. The grapefruit, just so amazing. But it doesn't have much in the base. It really has some woods in it, maybe some mineral notes, but nothing to really carry it. So I find that this doesn't last that long. That's why I put such a big dent in it, because I can overspray this. After 3 or 4 hours, it's starting to fade out. But when you mix that with some of the ISO Super, you mix these two together, or with the Boost, that takes this to the next level and allows this to last a lot longer. So that's what I would say, as opposed to something like, actually I got the wrong one. I have a Cedrat Boisé by Mancera. Now this right here, you know, obviously opens up with some of the citruses. It has the lemon and the bergamot and some black currant, but it also has some patchouli and some earthy notes in the midst. But it has musk and vanilla and the woods, the sandalwood, all that going on in the dry down and in the base. So this lasts a lot longer than this one right here. And so those are some of the reasons. So you can look at the note breakdown and be able to see why certain fragrances last a little bit longer just by looking at the different kind of notes. The same thing with this one right here by Banana Republic. This is Vintage Green 78. This right here, another one of my favorite summer fragrances that I'll be wearing a lot. But it opens up with the orange, it has the bergamot, has some jasmine tea and fig and what have you in the mid. But in the base, it does have some cedar. It has a little bit of, it has some musk in it. But I don't think it has a lot of it in there. It doesn't have a lot in the base, and this doesn't tend to last that long. But it works when you mix it with the ambroxan and or the ISO Super. So that's how that works. Obviously, you can do all the above. You can do the lotion or the Vaseline, and then you can put on the ISO Super, and then you can put on fragrance if you're really trying to make. So that will help you when you buy your summer fragrances that tend to be a lot weaker. And what it is that those top notes, those citruses, they come off strong, and you like, oh, this smells amazing. And then it immediately, the heat, what heat does is heat speeds up the process, and it causes those you know, those the scents to, they end up kind of getting real strong, but then they end up fading out real quick because they have nothing to kind of carry them. This is Marvin with Preaching Scents. Hope this helped you all with deciding how to help your fragrances project a little bit longer. Hopefully some of these tips you could apply it and be able to, you know, have your fragrances last long, especially here in the summer. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, leave some comments. Let me know if you have some tips. I'm always learning here, looking to learn, and would love to know what kind of tips and tricks you all have to make your fragrances last longer. Maybe I can add to what I do. So everyone take care.